Hi, EDU 250 students. This is Dr. Legler. I wanted to give you a preview of week 13. So I'm in modules, and you will see here that it runs April 20th through the 26th. This week we'll be exploring how do we address student variability in the classroom, which is chapters 5 and 6. I included some PowerPoints here. And then we only have two assignments left in this class, Task 5 and the Passion Project, which I will explain in a little bit. After this week, we only have one more module left. I combined week 14 and 15, which runs April 27th through the final exam week. And you'll mostly be working on your passion project. But I would like you to begin it this week. It's worth 100 points, so it's something that I don't want you to wait until the last minute. All right, so let's look at what's in week 13. So week 13, like I mentioned, covers chapter 5 and 6. So chapter 5, I have right here addressing cultural and socioeconomic diversity, and chapter 6 is accommodating student variability. You've covered a lot of content and explored it in great length in both EDU 150 and EDU 275. Most of you are taking EDU 275 this semester with EDU 250. So I know that a lot of what is in chapter 5 is content that you've already had before. So what I really wanted to do is give you some new resources that might help you moving forward. This is something that's relatively new. It's this Nebraska Department of Education's Equity and Diversity Resources for Educators. I want you to look through those resources and save whatever you think will be beneficial to you as you get to clinical practice and also once you have your own classroom. When we get into chapter 6, there's some things that I wanted to expand on a little bit. One is related to ability grouping, discusses it in chapter 6, but there's a lot of debate around ability grouping, whether it's a good thing to have homogeneous, which is groups that are the same, or heterogeneous, groups that are different when you're grouping students for different learning activities. So I thought this video was really good. It was made through the Teaching for Tolerance website, and I think it does a really good job of explaining all of that. One thing, you'll learn an awful lot about special education in some of your courses, but we don't talk about gifted education that much. So I wanted to provide you with some resources on gifted education, including resources for educators, and also explaining gifted education today, which this podcast will help you with. And it goes into how we should rethink gifted education. So you may have some gifted students in your future classrooms. So I encourage you to look through these resources and save whatever items you think might be beneficial to you in the future. Another thing I wanted to include was more about assistive technologies. Our book was published in 2013, which when we're talking about technology, 2013 is old. So I wanted to provide a couple new resources for you. One is this 15 assistive technology tools and resources for students with disabilities. And this goes into some examples of assistive technology and explains what it is and what it isn't. So make sure that you look through those two things. As I mentioned earlier, we have 2 assignments left. One is task 5, which looks like this. I discussed this in great detail last week, so if you have not started that assignment yet, I would like you to go back to week 12 and look at the explanation about that. I think you'll find it in the video that I made. But let's talk about the Passion Project. Now, that is due Sunday, May 3rd, and so in a nutshell, you're going to be creating an artifact. You're going to be making something that demonstrates your passion for education through relation to the concepts in class that will inspire you as you move forward. The biggest difference between this project and the artistic representation of mission assignment that you did in EDU 150 is that this one has more connections to educational psychology. Okay. So in addition to making something that demonstrates your passion, you are also going to write a one-page paper explaining your project, how it connects to the concepts in class. Um, so you'll need to submit 2 things. One is either a picture, upload a picture image of your whatever you made, or if you used an online tool to create your artifact, make sure that you include the shareable link. So I want to see the artifact. You could even record a video of it. And then you'll also need to upload the one-page paper, which you should do in Microsoft Word. So let's look at the Passion Project instructions. Other than what I mentioned, make sure that you think about this assignment as a reflective assignment on the whole course and what you learned, and maybe extend what you learned, extend the learning you have accomplished over the course of the semester. So here gives some examples of what your artistic representation could be, and some of the concepts that you might want to think about as you're creating your artifact and as you're writing your one-page paper. I want you to think about these questions. These need to be as you write your one-page paper, it needs to be I guess I need to make sure that you've thought about these questions as you wrote your one-page paper or reflected on those questions. And it can also come through with whatever you made as far as your artifact. So as you're working on it, I encourage you to kind of look back through all the readings, videos, discussions we've had, assignments that we've had, to look at the concepts, approaches, and issues that most inspired you. Okay. So this is the rubric, and you will be evaluated according to how cogently or concisely you demonstrate specific concepts and examples from course materials, how thoughtfully and imaginatively you address the assignment, and how clearly you express yourself. Okay. So I hope you have fun with this. I encourage you to reach out to me if you have questions or want to run some ideas by me. And I hope you have a great week and that you're staying healthy. Bye-bye.